Kill me! I'm here! Kill me!
Hey everybody, this is Matthew Movies coming at you with my review of Deepwater Horizon, the 2016 movie based on real-life events, the BP oil spill to be specific. Now, for those of you that don't recall that series of events or don't follow the news or just don't care, basically what happened was there was a company called BP, or British Petroleum, that were drilling for oil in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico, and they didn't take all the proper security precautions. They jumped the gun in order to try to get ahead of the gun because they were way behind schedule, and as a result they took some safety measures that they should have been putting into place and skipped them in order to move ahead when they clearly shouldn't have, and as a result they caused a catastrophe that leaked hundreds of millions of barrels of oil into the ocean, and also caused the rig that was doing the drilling to be engulfed in flames, and the people that were on that rig to be put in grave danger. Now, this movie is directed by Peter Berg, who is a director who I think is really underrated. Now, don't get me wrong, he certainly made his fair share of crappy movies. I mean, the dude made Battleship. And Hancock, I think, really misfired on a lot of levels, had a really interesting beginning, but kind of fell apart in the end. But on the other hand, he made The Rundown, which I think is underrated, Very Bad Things, which I think was really interesting, Friday Night Lights, Lone Survivor, which I thought was fantastic, last year's Patriots Day, which I was a big fan of, and this, which I really enjoyed. This movie stars Mark Wahlberg, who I think has really matured into one heck of an actor, Kurt Russell, who will always be one of my favorite movie stars, John Malkovich, and a group of other people that you may or may not know. Ethan Suplee's in this as well, but all give very solid performances. And what this movie really focuses on, like I said, they do go into some of the background of the event and how certain people involved were trying to move things forward and how certain people were trying to be more cautious and all that good stuff. But really, this movie centers on the situation that took place on that rig and how the people there were trying to survive, and the heroicism of certain people involved who put themselves at great personal risk in order to try to save others and try to stop this catastrophe from happening. And it just really feels like you're going a mile a minute. Your heart's pacing throughout. I mean, obviously, one of the things that's interesting is that because this is based on a true life story, you know a lot. If you followed the story, you know where this is going. You know, despite their efforts to try to cap the issue, that's not going to work, and their attempts at that are really quite fruitless. So there's a part of you that's thinking, no, forget that, just get off. But obviously, they didn't know that at the time, and the fact that they were willing to put themselves at such great personal risk in order to try to help the planet as a whole was very inspiring. And then you had all these characters, these men, these women that were doing things that were, that really didn't panic in that moment and instead put themselves at risk in order to try to help one another. That was really inspiring. And it's interesting because whenever I watch one of these movies, like Patriots Day, for instance, I really enjoyed Patriots Day, but Mark Wahlberg's character in it, after the movie was over, I looked into it. It was really an amalgamation of several people who did various things. So really, there wasn't a person who did that. With this movie, however, from what I can tell, it seems like a lot of the things he did, a real-life person by the name of Mike Williams actually did. And the fact that there was a person out there that was so calm in such a, I mean, just terrible, horrific situation, and also so self-sacrificing and just so selfless, was just incredible. And I'm sure that there is parts of it that are sensationalized or what have you, but the way that this movie is made, it really gets to the core of what it is to be a person, and what it is to be a person in a situation where you really have a moment to choose between doing the right thing and not. And obviously there are a lot of people who, won't necessarily either have the physical capability, the mental capability, because they don't know what his character knew, or just don't have the wherewithal, or panicked or whatever. And I'm not casting aspersions on any of those people, because I mean, I've never been in a situation like that. who has, right? So I don't know exactly how I would react in that kind of situation. So sitting in judgment of anybody like that is in one of those situations, I think is kind of foolish. I mean, sure, there are some people like, you know, when in Titanic, when you have Billy Zane's character going around being like mustache twirling evil, you can be like, okay, yeah, I wouldn't do that, right? But you put yourself in the perspective of so many of the different characters in this movie, and really empathize with what they're going through, and how you would handle it. And even if you think you would handle it differently, there's the part of you that will recognize that you don't ever know. And I think that's really one of the strengths of this film. I think this movie was very thought-provoking and very inspiring, and just really, really, really well done, and I really enjoyed it. It's one shot that I didn't care for, where there's the fire, and all of a sudden they cut to a shot of the American flag in front of all the in front of the fire, which I thought was, I mean, very, very heavy-handed and unnecessary. We get it. We understand where it's going. The fact that they're Americans really is quite immaterial. So I thought that was the one misstep I felt, but it's very, very momentary. So those are my thoughts on Deepwater Horizon. Let me know in the comments below what you think. If you think I was off the mark, if you were bothered at all by the American flag moment, or if it roused some emotion in you, whatever you want to say, please hit that like button, hit that share button. It does awesome things for my channel. It makes it much more likely that other people might be able to check out my videos that wouldn't have otherwise. And please hit that share button, or I already said that. Hit that notification button and hit that subscribe button if you're new here. I love talking to people about movies, and if you could do that, you'd find out when I put out new videos. Hopefully, come and check them out and be part of the conversation, and I would love that. Other than that, hey, why don't you have yourself a great day?